Story time with Adam and Don.
Hello everybody, and thank you for joining us again here at the Canyon City Public Library for another virtual story time. We like to start our story times off with a song, sung to the tune of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and it goes a little something like, oh, welcome, welcome everyone, now you're here, let's have some fun. First we'll clap our hands just so, then we'll bend and touch our toes. Welcome, welcome everyone, now you're here, let's have some fun. Good job everyone.
Fletcher and the Falling Leaves by Julia Rawlinson, pictures by Tiffany Beek, and published by Green Willow Books. The world was changing. Each morning when Fletcher bounded out of the den, everything seemed just a little bit different. The rich green of the forest was turning to a dusty gold, and the soft swishing sound of summer was fading to a crinkly whisper. Fletcher's favorite tree looked dull, dry, and brown. Fletcher was beginning to get worried. "I think my tree is sick," said Fletcher. "What's wrong with it?" his mother asked. "Its leaves are turning brown," said Fletcher. "Don't worry, it's only autumn," she said. Fletcher ran back to his tree and patted the rough bark. "Don't worry, it's only autumn," he said. "You'll be feeling better soon." But the tree didn't get better. Each day more leaves turned brown. One morning the wind blew a small brown leaf off of the branch. Fletcher jumped up and caught it very gently in his paw. "Don't worry, tree. I've got your leaf. I'll fix you." Fletcher looked around, picked a piece of grass, and carefully tied the leaf to a branch. Just then another gust of wind ruffled Fletcher's fur. The little leaf shook itself free and fluttered back to the ground. Fletcher picked it up again and thought very hard. Then he poked the leaf into a twig and pushed it down firmly. "Now you hold on tight," said Fletcher. "No more flying around." The little leaf gave a tiny rustle in reply. The next day a strong wind was blowing through the forest. Fletcher rushed out of the den and ran all the way to his tree. Lots of branches were bare and little lost leaves spun everywhere. "Don't worry, tree. I'll catch them for you, I promise." Round and round whirled Fletcher after the swirling leaves. "Leaves, wonderful, just what I need for my nest," said a squirrel. "But these belong to the tree," said Fletcher. "Don't take them away." "The tree doesn't need them anymore," said the squirrel, bounding off. "Help, help, the wind and the squirrel are stealing our leaves," cried Fletcher. "Leaves, terrific, just what I need to keep warm," said a porcupine, rolling around. "But these belong to the tree," said Fletcher, plucking leaves from the porcupine's needles. "Not any more," snuffled the porcupine, and away he rolled. "Help, help, the wind, the squirrel, and the porcupine are stealing our leaves," cried Fletcher. Suddenly a flock of friendly birds swooped down from the sky. They picked up the leaves in their beaks and poked them onto the tree's branches. Soon the tree was leafy again, and Fletcher flopped down and smiled. "Thank you, birds, thank you," he gasped as the birds fluttered away. He lay looking up through the leaves at the sky and drifted off to sleep. But the wind continued to blow and the branches still danced. The leaves shivered and shook themselves and began to wriggle free. They tossed and turned and twitched and twirled and tumbled to the ground. They brushed Fletcher's ears and nose and filled his dreams with a whispering sound. When Fletcher finally woke up, he couldn't believe his eyes. Instead of a roof of dancing leaves, all he could see were bare branches against the sky. "Oh, tree, I'm so sorry," gulped Fletcher. "All your leaves are gone." But then he saw high in the branches one small leaf still holding on. "I won't let the wind steal that one," said Fletcher, and he began to climb. He crawled along to the last leaf and held it firmly onto its branch. All day long the wind blew, the branch bounced, and Fletcher held tight. "I'll stay with you, leaf," he said. "Don't worry." But then, with a sudden whoosh of wind, the branch bounced high. With a plip, the leaf let go and fluttered like a little flag clutched in Fletcher's paw. Fletcher looked sadly at the leaf he had promised to save. He carried it carefully down the tree and back to the den. He made a cozy little bed for it and gently tucked it in. But all night long he could only think of his tree all on its own. At dawn, Fletcher tiptoed outside. The wind had finally stopped blowing and the air was cold. The moon still hung in the clear sky and pale stars glimmered. As he came to his favorite tree, Fletcher saw a magical sight. The tree was hung with 1,000 icicles, shining silver in the early light. "You're more beautiful than ever," whispered Fletcher. "But are you all right?" A tiny breeze shivered the branches, making a sound like laughter, and in the light of the rising sun, the sparkling branches nodded. Fletcher gave his tree a hug. Then he went back to the den for a nice warm breakfast. The end. Fletcher and the Falling Leaves.
Just as a reminder, folks, the September 27th through October 3rd is National Banned Book Week. Banned Book Week was launched in the 1980s at a time of increased challenges and organized protest. Also, at the time of the famous Supreme Court case, the Island Tree School District versus Pico in 1982, where the Supreme Court decided that schools officials cannot ban books in libraries simply because of their content. So, every year, the coalition comes together and we support the freedom to read. As librarians, we believe in access and the freedom for everybody to make their own choices of what they like to read. Books are still being challenged to this day, and most challenges are an attempt to remove or restrict access to certain stories. So, while they are continue to be banned throughout the country, we like to, the Banned Book Weeks is a celebration in the fact that majority of the cases, the item is kept and you have access to it. So please come down and express your freedom to read and pick up some of our many banned books. I will be reading one of my favorites today. And this one, a school district in British Columbia removed from the libraries in 2012 because the line, "I know up on top you are seeing great sights, but down here at bottom we too should have rights," was seen as a political message. Any guess? Would be surprised which ones are actually challenged. And today we will be reading one of my favorites by Dr. Seuss. Yertle the Turtle by Dr. Seuss. Published by Random Children's House Books. Yertle the Turtle and Other Stories by Dr. Seuss. Yes, Dr. Seuss. It's one of the many banned and challenged books. Yertle the Turtle. On a faraway island named Salamassad, Yertle the Turtle was king of the pond. A nice little pond. It was clean, it was neat. The water was warm, there was plenty to eat. The turtles had everything turtles might need, and they were all happy. Quite happy indeed. They were, until Yertle, the king of them all, decided the kingdom he ruled was too small. "I am ruler," said Yertle, "of all that I see, but I don't see enough. That's the trouble with me. With this stone for a throne, I look down on my pond, but I cannot look down on the places beyond. This throne that I sit on is too low down. It ought to be higher," he said with a frown. "If I could sit high, how much greater I'd be. What a king, I'd be ruler of all I could see." So Yertle the Turtle King lifted his hand, and Yertle the Turtle King gave a command. He ordered 9 turtles to swim to his stone, and using these turtles he built a new throne. He made each turtle stand on another one's back, and he piled them all up in a 9 turtle stack. And then Yertle climbed up. He sat down on the pile. What a wonderful view! He could see most a mile. "All mine!" Yertle cried. "Oh, the things I now rule! I am king of a cow. I am king of a mule. I'm king of a house. And what's more beyond that, I am king of a blueberry bush and a cat. I am Yertle the Turtle. Oh, marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see." And all that through that morning he sat there up high, saying over and over, "A great king am I." Until long about noon, then he heard a faint sigh. "What's that?" snapped the king. And he looked down the stack, and he saw at the bottom a turtle named Mac, just as part of his throne. And this plain little turtle looked up and he said, Beg your pardon, King Yertle. I have pains in my back and my shoulders and knees. How long must we stand here? Your Majesty, please. Silence, the king of the turtles barked back. I am king, and you're only a turtle named Mac. You stay in your place while I sit here and rule. I am king of a cow. I am king of a mule. I am king of a house and a bush and a cat. But that isn't all. I'll do better than that. My throne shall be higher. His royal voice thundered. So pile up more turtles. I want about 200. Turtles. More turtles, he bellowed and brayed. And the turtles way down in the pond were afraid. They trembled. They shook. But they came, they obeyed. From all over the pond they came swimming by dozens. Whole families of turtles with uncles and cousins. And all of them stepped on the head of poor Mac. One after another they climbed up the stack. Then Yertle, the turtle, was perched up so high he could see 40 miles from his throne in the sky. Hooray, shouted Yertle. I am king of the trees. I am king of the birds. I am king of the bees. I am king of the butterflies, king of the air. Ah, me, what a throne, what a wonderful chair. I am Yertle the turtle, oh marvelous me, for I am the ruler of all that I see. Then again from below, in a great heavy stack, came a groan from the plain little turtle named Mac. Your Majesty, please. I don't like to complain, but down here below we are feeling great pain. I know up on top you are seeing great sights, but down at the bottom we too should have rights. We turtles can't stand it. Our shells will all crack. Besides, we need food. We are starving, groaned Mac. You hush up your mouth, howled the mighty King Yertle. You've no right to talk to the world's highest turtle. I am ruler from the clouds, over land, over sea. There's nothing, no nothing, that's higher than me. But while he was shouting, he saw with surprise that the moon of the evening was starting to rise. Up over his head in the darkening skies. What's that? Snorted Yertle. Say, what is that thing that dares to be higher than Yertle the king? I shall not allow it. I'll go higher still. I'll build my throne higher. I can and I will. I'll call some more turtles. I'll stack them to heaven. I need about 40,607. But as Yertle, the Turtle King, lifted his hand and started to order and give a command, the plain little turtle below in the stack, the plain little turtles whose name was just Mac, decided he'd taken enough, and he had. And that plain little lad got a little bit mad. And that plain little Mac did a plain little thing. He burped, and his burp shook the throne of the king. And Yertle the turtle, the king of the trees, the king of the air, and the birds and the bees, the king of the house and the cow and the mule, well, that was the end of the Turtles King's rule. For Yertle, the king of Solomsad, fell off his high throne and fell plunk in the pond. And today, the great Yertle, the marvelous he, is king of the mud. That's all he can see. And the turtles, of course, all the turtles are free, as turtles, and maybe all creatures should be. Yertle the Turtle by Dr. Seuss. One of the many banned books that we have here at the Canyon City Public Library. I know that we're in the last days of September, but please come down. September was National Library Card Sign-Up Month, but we still have plenty of cards, and we are always looking forward, any month it is, to get you guys all signed up and have access to our great collection that we have here.